are those trending crafts to sell in 2022? It's that time of the year again, the time that, judging by the views on my last few videos on this subject, you guys all love. It's the time to dig into the style guides, and the most important one is the entire year style guide for 2022. For this year, I've not only taken inspiration from the Etsy style guide of 2022, but also from eRank, who I also work with, and we keep an eye on the trending keywords of every month, so I'm seeing the trends as they start to happen, and also some other fun places like Vogue. And just before coming to film this, Pinterest released their trend guide of 2022 as well. So why are all these sources so important? Firstly, those last three platforms actually not only predict the trends, but they have the power to make the trends as well. They blog about things, promote and make articles on styles they like the look of. So if they said something's going to be trending and they create some articles on it and push people to look at items of that kind of thing, they make it a trend. And Pinterest even more so. Pinterest is social media and a search engine, and it's the place where people go for inspirations before they buy things. So what you see trending on Pinterest tends to follow a few months later on selling platforms. So these are all huge and hopefully will give us a good idea. However, how to use all this? I'm not saying that you need to drop everything in your shops right now. You need to stop selling what you're selling and pivot completely into selling these kind of items. They're here to give you inspiration. Sometimes just the feeling, the zeitgeist of the year can give you an idea of what are you going to do with your photography. Perhaps if you're taking lifestyle photographs of people wearing your jewellery, what kind of clothing are they wearing? What ages are the people? Or what's the background going to look like? Or it can just be fun to look at. Some styles never go out of trend, so don't change just because the fashions are changing. But this might give you some inspiration. It certainly does with me. So I break these up into my own kind of categories, and let's start with my first, which is styles. This is the kind of overarching theme, things that are potentially seen maybe in clothing styles and crafts and DIYs and photography styles. First, steampunk is back. We're going to actually see this. Quite a few trends that were big and have dropped slightly are really in a big way going to be back for 2022. Steampunk was sneaking back quite a bit last year in card making and scrapbooking, but it's predicted to move into all other areas a little bit soon. And this makes sense as you think how the trends have been like cottagecore and dark academia and Regency core, the kind of technical Victoriana-ness of steampunk does sort of fit in there. Nostalgia and modern and a little bit arts and craftsy. And the cottagecore trend hasn't totally gone away. TV shows like The Crown, Downton Abbey and Bridgerton are still having us harking back to an opulent time in the past that probably didn't exist for most of the people that lived in that time. Mid-century modern and minimalist are seeing big spikes just now. And those clean lines are another thing that we've been seeing, sort of opposites in the trends. So cluttered cottagey houses to clean lines and minimalist, and as we'll talk about going forwards, also some of the shapes. We're talking about those sweeping curves in the kind of minimalist mid-century modern design. I know minimalist and mid-century modern aren't the exact same thing, but there's a lot of overlap and the trends are kind of following each other. And with a big spike in all things 90s, or a lot of it looks 80s to me, but they're calling it 90s, but with this big spike we've got punk, goth and grunge trending again. The punk is an interesting one. Etsy is talking about pastel goths, but Pinterest is full on black goths at the minute in time. And also 90s bright colours. I consider these actually quite 80s as well, but the sort of neon colours, but neon hot pink, neon teal, actually all the colours you kind of see in this sweeties are, you know, brightly coloured donuts. The colours you get on the sprinkles in donuts, these are 90s bright, or what's being considered as. And road trip is a really interesting theme. It's following on from we've talked about with the global unpleasantness for the past couple of years, people getting outside. Now we're talking about them getting outside for a road trip. In fact, Etsy's talking about lakeside. This is the trend. It's been mountains, it's been beaches, now we're lakeside. But Pinterest is taking it one step further. Lakes are included, but we're talking a nighttime road trip. And this trend is happening partly because so many cameras have been released that have a really decent nighttime mode. And those bright colours, those kind of the neon lights of last year and these bright colours really show up nicely against a dark nighttime background. And another thing that's going to tie in with some of the trends we're getting to later on, but in the road trip and the nighttime road trip, bioluminescence is huge as well. Natural stuff that glows. So what are the colours of this year? Well, Etsy has this gorgeous emerald green that it's predicting to be its colour of the year. So see if you can throw in a few of these as backgrounds, because Etsy are going to be looking to promote in their social media things that show the colours they like. But more importantly, Pantene has invented its first ever colour for a colour of the year. It's a periwinkle colour, but they're calling it Very Peri. And both these colours are supposed to evoke energy and looking forwards, but especially the Very Peri is supposed to be that kind of gender neutral thing. It's got reds, it's got blues, it's a bit of everything. It's bright and it's fun and it fits into that neons palette actually quite well. And to tie in with that confusing theme that we're having quite a lot of complete opposites, the colour feels, the colour styles are neon, bubblegum, pastel and black. Black especially is trending highly for wedding dresses just now. Crafts. There is a whole lot of fun, new and revisited craft ideas happening for 2022. First one I've been spotting, and from my mum correspondent in the craft world, is iris folding. This is an interesting technique. It's really popular in cards and decorations where a cutout is created and then coloured papers are folded in magical, mystical ways to make a kind of iris. But it's really beautiful. I'll be showing some examples here because my descriptions are terrible. Another paper craft is quilling. This is coming back in a big way. Oh, I did this back in the 80s. You've got strips of coloured paper and you twist them into spirals, glue them, you can make them into shapes. There's even stencils, you can twist them into the stencils and build up pictures of these spirals of colour. Resin pouring has been about for quite a while, and the new trend with that is making art out of it. You remember that acrylic pour that was all over the place a couple of years ago? Resin art, almost acrylic pour, the kind of similar thing where you're just pouring different colours and letting them blend and mix as they will. But I've also seen beautiful resin artworks where what the people are doing is they create a layer of resin, paint the background of the scene, create another layer, paint the next bit of the scene. So you've got this 3D box that's a painting that is absolutely gorgeous. On Pinterest, they're telling us cakes are on the rise. Now, we've had banana breads and breads and all sorts of other daft things, but now it is back to those highly decorated, Instagrammable or Pinterestable, I guess is Pinterest saying it, but those beautiful cakes. So if you sell any kind of baking supplies, look at things that will make it easier for people to make these lovely cakes. Cake decoration or cake decoration tools are set to be pretty high as people spend a bit of time doing this. And apparently I missed it, but there was the hashtag craftcore going around last year, and Vogue are completely predicting that artisan crafts are going to be big again this year. So look for the term artisanship. But this could mean all handmade things are popular. And what that means, if that's coming into the general public a bit more, they're going to be looking for kits to help them make the things that they're looking to make. Think of kits for activities for people to do together. Another Pinterest trend is friendship core, or whatever the word was. But another Pinterest thing is friendship. So if you can have a craft kit that's going to make something gorgeous that you can do with your best mates and reuse, recycle and repair, can you do kits that'll help people fix things? So this is helping people get more life out of their stuff that is broken, saving the planet and giving you an easy little craft kit idea. For the first time in my styles, I'm going to sneak in the little metaphysical section here, because this has been a trend, but what is metaphysical? What this includes changes all the time. So, dinosaurs are out. Oh no, oh no, hang on. Which, if you follow this channel, you'll know is great for me. Right, you go back, little guy. Dragons and fairies are back in. And galaxy print is back in again. In fact, especially Pinterest is talking about it as part of nail art. Nail art is going to be big. Not just galaxy, but hologram and ombre as well. And Etsy was talking about ombre lighting. Gonna have to change up my backdrop maybe. The material of the year, jute and rattan. Tufting, knitted and crochet is still about. That's the cottagecore thing still kicking about, and the handmade, making it yourself. And in the cottagecore, the flowers have moved on to dried flowers, which kind of makes sense for the northern hemisphere. It's winter, so at the minute in time we've probably run out of real flowers. And usual fabrics for old things, such as corsets made of denim. And a big Pinterest trend is going to be bling. We're talking everywhere. We're talking bejeweled makeup and nails and clothing, the full lot. So what are going to be these clothing styles? Well, really strangely, the back to work thing, you know, last year we were talking about people not fitting into their office garb and things. The actual office look is almost fetishized now. What we're thinking is, again, it's back to the 90s, but it's Britney Spears in that schoolgirl outfit. I'm not saying what I think of all of that, but yay on the free Britney. But yeah, so office wear, but a little bit more sexy. And also short skirts, risque dressing, lots of flesh on display. Yay, style icon. With the corsets that we spoke about. And remember that grunge trend as well. That's coming through with a lot more biker jackets and such like, so I'm imagining some denim and a little bit more rock and roll dirty. And a big one that both Pinterest and Etsy have mentioned is dopamine dressing. This is partly the colours, they're really wild colours, but it's an attitude. It really seems to be, don't care what anyone else thinks, dress for what makes you feel amazing. Flash your flesh if you want to, cover up if you want to, but put on the things that makes you feel fantastic. And I can't say I hate that trend. Granted, it might mean that people are wearing things that we might not have done, but yeah, it's important not to judge. If it makes them feel great, good on them. And the final dressing guide is basically any excuse for a party, which actually since I wrote this, the breaking news in the UK about our government having any excuse for a party. Oh boy. Yeah, but the idea of wearing clothes that are bright, fun, ready for the party, have sequins on, are bejeweled. So it's almost like we're talking about, remember before you used to have the clothes that you could transform into from the office to going out? Now it's pretty much like you're looking like you're ready for a party all the time. I can live with that. So that follows nicely to our occasions. If you're thinking any excuse for a party, what are the actual excuses for a party? They're bonkers. Pet birthday party, breakup cake, or divorced AF. These are all popular trending terms. And if you're having a party, the foods people are expecting to serve are going to be high-end, playful, small things. Again, I don't think buffets are going to be coming back anytime soon. We don't want mass communal food that everyone's dribbling on, but little small individual portions of something that you're going to Instagram. So think about it, the people, the caterers who are making this stuff, supply it to a wedding where wonderful beautiful people are. These wonderful beautiful people take pictures of it and share it on Instagram, and your great little individual works of art, food stuff, goes viral. So it's really a win-win-win. And think how you can get into that with perhaps what kind of plates or containers could you sell that people could portion out this food in? Or what tutorials could you do? Or kits again, molds, supplies, so that people who want to make it themselves, because at the same time weddings are not all going to be massive, opulent things that you've hired hundreds of people to help you with. Sometimes people are going to be wanting to pare it down a bit and perhaps even make the food together as a community with their friends for a fun thing to do a few days before the wedding. Into this new year, the Great Resignation is still a growing thing. This is where people who have been furloughed or kicked out of their work or not been at work for a while realise that their jobs were meaningless, that they didn't need them, and the people who are lucky enough to be able to do this, but they're able to say, actually my life doesn't have meaning working in this coffee shop or something. They want to do something better, and if they're being treated rubbishly, they're perhaps quitting. So there is very much options here for things like good luck in your new career, good luck in your new venture type cards, you know, sorry to see you're leaving, or congratulations on your new job. Always, always, always a perennial every new year is, of course, keep fit. And that is not just keeping fit, although you could do tutorials of how to keep fit, but planning your keeping fit. You know, journals and things like that are really always popular. And a big trend with the minimalist and everything else that fits into this keep fit thing is storage. Places to store your keep fit things, or keep fit things that break down and are easily storable. And with everything that is possible, a thing that is really popular is multi-purpose, things that have more than one use. So how can your thing be used for something else? If that's possible, that's a bonus. And as well as keep fit, think of those flagpole events, things that happen every single year. These are like Valentine's Day and Mother's Day. Now we are seeing a trend for all these kind of celebrations to be smaller. Even I'm pretty sure most people spent less on Christmas, and it's likely to be the same, which is not actually a bad thing for us crafters. Rather than buy your mum a pile of cheap mass manufactured teddy bears, why not buy the one artisan teddy bear that's been handmade, personalised just for her? So if we can jump on that trend, yeah, they might be spending a third of what they did a couple of years ago, but if all of that third comes to you rather than the high street, then you're onto a winner. So what are the shapes of the year? They're abstract arches and pyramids. Ooh, Illuminati. Rounded squiggles, sprinkles and confetti. Remember I mentioned those sprinkles colours? Yeah. It's all over the place. And Pinterest is predicting curves, those minimalist but sweeping sideboards and sofas. And even desks. Actually, that's super useful if you have a work setup with multiple screens. A curved desk is so much more helpful, or ergonomic. And oversized clock decor, not necessarily just big clocks, although that is super popular, like a clock that takes up almost your entire wall, but clocks integrated into arms of chairs and Salvador Dali type bonkersness. It's not quite the steampunk look, it's more modern and clean lines, but still lots of clocks. And what is the feel of 2022? The overarching feel of the whole year. So if you take nothing else away, perhaps your photography styles can be inspired by the feel, the zeitgeist of the year. It is young, loud, and don't care what people think. Optimistic, especially with changing jobs and moving forward into new and different things. It is decluttering our homes and moving to more sustainable, multi-use things. And also, thankfully, artisan things instead of mass-produced things. And friendship is the big theme. Anything you can do together with your friends. I hope that helped inspire you, or just enjoyment to see what's going on in the world, even if you're not quite the style icon that I'm not. Let's not pretend. If you want, because the Pinterest style guide just came out, I can do more of a deep dive into that. If you want to learn more of the trends, like pearl core. Yeah, do we have to put the word core after everything? But anyway, there's lots of interesting trends there. I am definitely looking forward to digging into nighttime road trip. That sounds like so much fun. But let me know in the comments if you want a deep dive into the Pinterest style guide. And as ever, let me know what you were inspired by, what perhaps new crafts you're going to try. Is there anything you're going to change in what you're selling based on what you're hearing here? And let's hope 2022 is a good year for us all. Is it too late to say Happy New Year? Happy New Year anyway. Have a great year.